Hey everyone, I'm back with another video, and this one's gonna be a little bit longer than these videos usually are. Sometimes I really want to get them to, I don't know, 20 to 30 minutes long. If I can get it even below that, that's also really cool. But today, because I'm gonna be talking about a lot of stuff, it's going to be much longer, probably, at least that's what I think it's gonna be. But today I'm gonna be talking about my most anticipated movies and video games of 2022. This is gonna be quite a long list. And again, none of these are ranked. None of these are like, oh, this one's the one that I'm most excited for or anything. There's no specific order as to these movies coming out. Okay, I just kind of put on the movies and games that I'm mostly looking forward to this year. So there's no rating or there's no like preference of, oh, I want to watch this one first and the other ones. No. There's no, like, ranking here. But anyways, I just wanted to talk to you guys about the stuff that I'm really excited to watch and play, or at least have the chance to watch and play this year. Because there's a lot of good stuff coming out in 2022. Not only in movies, but in video games, and let me just tell you, video games today are very expensive. I think just a normal copy of Elden Ring, like a standard copy of the game, costs like $70 to $80, which is insane. Like, why? I don't get it. It's stupid as hell, but whatever. Nobody's here to hear me complain about the shitty prices that now games have. Really, who decided that it was a good idea to raise up the prices for video games? They were already pretty expensive at $60, and now adding $10 more is just like, ugh. I know, it's like, this is such a dumb thing to complain with everything going on right now. But just a pet peeve, okay, of mine. But anyways, I'm really excited to talk about this. This is gonna be a longer discussion, but I hope you guys stick around to watch how I feel and why I'm excited for these certain movies and games. So I want to start with video games first. My first video game is actually one that I'm quite looking forward to. And I think this game was announced during one of the Game Awards, I think it was. I'm not completely sure. But for what I've read and for what I've heard, I think it's somewhat a successor to Dead Space. And I love Dead Space. So I'm really excited for this because it just has a very interesting look to it. Or at least it's trying to have somewhat of a similar mood and art direction as Dead Space, and to me that's really exciting. But anyways, the game that I'm talking about is the Callisto Protocol.
You are cleared for landing.
The Callisto Protocol, again, like I said, I think it's a bunch of developers that have worked on past Dead Space games. So that's really exciting for me, especially because out of all the Dead Space games, which there's only really 3 of them, the third one was really a weak entry in the franchise, and I always wanted them to make a 4th one just for the sake of kinda either retconning or just kinda fix all the mistakes that they did in the 3rd installment. But it's cool that we have a successor, or at least hopefully it will be a successor to Dead Space. Again, we don't have much to work here with. The only thing that they showed us, which, yes, I checked, it was at a Game Awards, was just a cinematic trailer. And yes, it looks cool, but I can't really talk too much about something so minimalistic like a cinematic trailer, okay? For me to really have a discussion about these games, I need more than just a cinematic. I need gameplay, I need some story details, I need more. Even some concept art, I can work with that even more than just a cinematic. But, yes, I'm really excited for this, not necessarily because I've seen a lot of it, but because it has good talent behind it. Again, developers from Dead Space are working on it, and with that small cinematic trailer that they gave us, it does have a very horror-ish sci-fi mood and style that I really like, that Dead Space had. And also I've familiarized very much with the Alien franchise, so that's gonna be really exciting. So for my next game is actually kind of a weird one, not necessarily because it's a bizarre game, but because it's not something I feel like a lot of people would expect me to put in something like this. But another game that I'm really excited to play, or at least hopefully play, is a game called Stray. Stray is a game where you, quite literally, the title just kind of gives it away, you play as a stray cat in somewhat of a robotic, post-modern future where there's no humans. At least it looks like there's no humans, and robots have completely taken over the roles of humans. And to me, that's really interesting. I think there's a lot of potential here to make a somewhat of a fun, maybe puzzle solving or even platforming game. And as well, I just love cats. I really love cats. They're cute, they're very adorable. So the fact that I can play a game where I can quite literally just play as a stray cat and do, I don't know, stray cat shenanigans, to me that's really cool. Or at least to me that's very interesting. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Stray. It looks quite interesting. Okay, so now the next two are actually honestly not surprises. I don't think I've ever mentioned it on the channel, but I love Nintendo. I could definitely consider myself a Nintendo fan. Yes, as much as I love Nintendo, they do tend to do and take really dumbass decisions that are really stupid that I absolutely hate. But I still love Nintendo because they have a huge amount of talented developers, and they make some of my favorite games in the industry. Because their games focus on something that I think most games should really focus on, and that is gameplay and making the game fun. Nintendo's very good at making fun, very gameplay-driven games. That's why I get super excited for Nintendo titles, because I can just pick up a Nintendo game, put it on my console, and just play it. I don't need to focus on a lot of dumb shit like, oh, let's focus on this really complicated story that could be or could not be very good. But Nintendo to me has always been kind of the weird one, because I don't care if they don't give me a huge good story. I only want a fun game that I can just pick up and play whenever I want. It's cool to have some lore, definitely, but I love Nintendo games for the fun. That's why I love Nintendo. My next most anticipated game of 2022 is actually one that I've been asking for a long time, or at least a new installment in this series of games, Mario Strikers Battle League.
Mario Strikers Battle League.
I love the Mario Strikers games, okay? Especially Charged. Charged just has this really awesome art style to it. Again, or at least not art style, but art direction that I think no other Mario games, or at least especially in the sports Mario games, no other has this. It's very raw, it's very aggressive, which is really what I like. And for somebody that doesn't really like sports games, especially soccer, it's, to me, very cool that I can play sports games that actually feels fun. This looks cool. Mario Strikers Battle League, to me, is very interesting because it feels like next level games are finally coming back, especially after Nintendo finally, or at least quite a while ago, they bought the studio. For those who don't know, Next Level Games worked on a lot of good games. Mainly they worked on games like Luigi's Mansion 3, but also one of my favorite games of all time, Punch-Out for the Nintendo Wii. I really, really hope that after Mario Strikers Battle League, they make a new Punch-Out. They need to. Please, I'm begging you to make a new Punch-Out. Please, 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 that would be the most amazing thing for me. For the next game, I'm honestly not surprised, like for you guys probably, but I'm not surprised that I put this, not only because again, it's another Nintendo title. The next game is Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So I've played my good share amount of Nintendo Kirby games, okay? And they're pretty fun. Like they're cute, they're entertaining, they're really fun. But I don't always get into them. At least not all of them. Definitely have some favorites. I mean, Kirby's Epic Yarn is probably one of my favorite games of the franchise, and I've played that game like multiple times growing up. But other than that, every other title in the Kirby franchise is kind of like, okay, it's good, but it's not really for me. And now that they're doing somewhat of a different thing with Forgotten Land, making it somewhat of a 3D platformer, which I don't think they've done before with Kirby, to me that's really interesting. And the gameplay looks really fun, the art style is really cool and cute. It's just one of those games that I feel like, again, I could just pick up and play it and have just a lot of fun, not having to focus on all this extra shit that every other modern game has, like a story or some complicated mechanic that by the end of the day maybe I will use or maybe not, you know? So definitely looking forward to that. But for my last game, and this is actually probably most likely my most anticipated game of 2022, and again, this could change, the game could possibly be delayed to next year, but because there's been already so much talk of this game coming out this year, in 2022, I had to put it on here, at least for right now. I mean, who knows, maybe tomorrow they're gonna say, no, the game is gonna be delayed to next year, which is like, fine, I don't mind it, okay? I'm not gonna cry or bitch or whine about a game that got delayed, okay? I'm not like that. But my next game, or at least my final game that I'm really excited to play this year, is God of War Ragnarok.
Are you coming with us?
You'll get your answer soon enough. Well, some of them.
I absolutely loved God of War 2018. That is one of my favorite games, not only of 2018, but of all time. I was so surprised of how good that game was, not only in terms of its story, but how much they actually improved the gameplay. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the older God of War games. I think the gameplay feels really stiff, it feels really awkward. The past games, again, they're hack and slash games with a little bit of platforming, and I just don't feel like that's a good combination for God of War. But with God of War 2018, they made a lot of huge changes, mainly actually making Kratos an actual character that I care about. Because in past games, Kratos is just kind of a big dumb guy that just goes throughout the entire game screaming and being angry and being pissed off, and it's all about revenge and revenge and revenge this and revenge that, and it's like, god damn it, okay, I get it, just shut the fuck up for a minute, I beg you. Again, the most exciting thing for me, yes, is the story, but because the gameplay was also really well done and really fun in 2018's game, it's like, I just hope that they expand upon the gameplay more on Ragnarok, instead of just not copying and pasting, but just kind of doing the same old shit that they did in the last game, you know? So that's my only concern, but I'm really excited for God of War Ragnarok. It's, again, one of my most anticipated games from this year. And again, like I said, it could be delayed to next year, I don't know. A lot of you probably are wondering why Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is not here. The reason why it's because that one's a more unsure game to come out this year. A lot of people think that it's coming out 2022, which is just a huge lie, okay? When they first revealed the gameplay of the game on, was it last E3? I think, yes. The developers talked about saying that they hope they can get the game out by 2022. But there's a possibility that they could delay it. They could delay it more, okay? So I'm not putting Breath of the Wild 2 on this list, not because, oh, that's too, I already have too many Nintendo titles here. No, it's because there is a huge unsureness of if the game will actually release 2022. Okay, that's the only reason why Breath of the Wild 2 is not in the list. But other than that, and again, yes, the same thing could happen to God of War Ragnarok. But because God of War Ragnarok is a little bit more sure that it could come out this year, that's why I put it on the list. And again, that could possibly change tomorrow, but who knows. Right now, it looks pretty sure that it will come out this year. So that's the reason why I put it on here, and the reason why Breath of the Wild 2 is absent from this list. Ooh, oh my god. Oh, I talked for so long. Oh man. But now we're gonna be talking about the movies. So for my first movie of 2022 that I'm actually really looking forward to is Lightyear.
I can provide sleep sounds if you like. I have several options. Summer night, ocean paradise, whale calls.
No. White noise is fine.
Very well.
Good night, Socks.
Good night, Buzz.
Lightyear is actually quite interesting. The moment they announced it, like the first time they ever announced it, I was like, huh, this is kind of weird. Like, I don't understand the point of it. I guess it's another way that they can just squeeze something out of the Toy Story franchise somehow to get some of that crowd to go watch this. But at the same time, I was just kind of scratching my head thinking to myself, why make like a movie about the astronaut that inspired the Buzz Lightyear toy? I guess because it's really meta, it's the reason why they're doing it. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if I'm sure that this is going to be anything good. But after watching the trailers, I was completely convinced of like, oh no, Pixar has something good in their hands right here. The casting is interesting. I think it's actually good that you have Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear. Nothing against Tim Allen, even though Tim Allen has said and done his fair share of dumb shit in the past. But again, his Buzz Lightyear voice is iconic. You can't really replace it. But doing this different story or different take on Buzz Lightyear, I think it does open the doors to somebody else to do the voice for the character, especially as somewhat of a origin story slash biopic on the actual like astronaut that inspired the Buzz Lightyear toy. I know it sounds like I'm talking crazy shit right now, but that's what that's what the entire trailers have given me. Okay, again, this could fail. I'm not saying that this is going to work 100%, but the trailers just show so much promise that it looks like Pixar has another hit on their hands. So that's the reason I put it on here, and it's the main reason why I'm actually looking forward to it. For my next anticipated movie of 2022 is actually one that I never thought I would ever put on a list, okay? And that is Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Where are my manners? Sonic, meet Knuckles.
The first Sonic the Hedgehog movie was a huge surprise. I was really surprised how much I actually liked it. Not only that, but how much it was actually good. Because with the first trailer that they put out with that really shitty ass design, it's like, wow, this is going to be absolutely awful. Then they changed it. Well, first of all, they officially announced they were changing it, so it's like, oh my god, they're actually listening to our feedback? That's kind of cool. And then they actually showed the new design, and it's like, okay, now this has actually somewhat of a better chance to actually somewhat not be as patronizing or as awful looking as it could have possibly looked. And the trailers for Sonic the Hedgehog 2 look very cool, look very interesting. Having Knuckles here is also very, very fucking cool. I love that Idris Elba is doing the voice, and he sounds absolutely perfect for the character. Tails also sounds incredible. I think the actress that voices Tails in the movie has actually voiced Tails in the past. I think in some games and actually in the Sonic Boom cartoon. My relationship with Sonic is weird. The games are really hit or miss, and they're usually misses. But the movie was this weird success for me where I'm like, okay, I'm kind of getting my interest of Sonic back because of the movie. And the second movie again looks cool, and having Jim Carrey back as Dr. Eggman is just the icing on the cake. Man, I'm surprised I put this on the list. And the fact that they already announced Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and a Knuckles spin-off series is like, man, they are really trying to build this up as somewhat of a cinematic universe, which honestly, if they do a good job on it, I have no issues of them doing that, okay? I just hope they don't fail and they don't stumble upon issues later on, or at least on this sequel and the future sequel, because I think this could actually work as somewhat of a Sonic video game-ish cinematic universe. Like, come on, like, please, please, please. I'm really begging that the Mario movie is not a mess, so we can actually have somewhat of a possibility of having a Smash Bros movie happening. Could you imagine that? I know, it's kind of a weird dream to have, but I would absolutely love a Smash Bros movie. My next movie is not a surprise, it's a Marvel movie, actually, and it is Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness. I really liked the first Doctor Strange movie. I think it has a very unique style to it that not a lot of other Marvel movies have. Probably the most exciting thing about this, at least for me, is Sam Raimi directing it. I don't know what's up with this movie, okay, in terms of what's gonna happen, what kind of consequences it's going to leave on the MCU later on, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. And I also like Benedict Cumberbatch, and I love that Wanda is here. Dr. Xavier is in the movie. Hey, Future Diego here. So I just wanted to comment on the fact that I know that I said Dr. Xavier, and it's actually Professor Xavier. Yes, I'm sorry for such a small mistake, but I know that if I don't correct myself right now, somebody's gonna do it in the comments, so yeah. Yeah, that's all. Bye. I guess, I don't know, like a lot of people are talking about, oh, it's the Illuminati, and I'm just like, what the fuck is an Illuminati? My next most anticipated movie of 2022 is The Northman. The Northman, I don't know much about. I don't even know who's directing it. But I think that's what kind of makes it better for me. The more I know less about this film, the more engaged I am on watching it. It does have a pretty good casting, I'll say. I mean, any movie that has William Dafoe or Anya Taylor-Joy is going to be an absolute joy. I don't know, I just don't have much to say about The Northman. I'm just really looking forward to it, because it looks very interesting, and if we're gonna deal with stuff about Norse mythology, that's also a plus for me. My next most anticipated movie of 2022 is actually one that I'm really looking forward to, and that is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1! That's right, Part 1 of 2, I think. Yeah, it's 2, yeah. Part 1, though. This is Part 1. I absolutely love Into the Spider-Verse. It is not only one of my favorite movies of all time, it's also one of my favorite animated movies of all time, but it's also my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. Like, out of all the Spider-Man movies that we've had, and even after having things like No Way Home, I'm sorry guys, Spider-Verse still is the king of these Spider-Man movies. The art style is amazing. The story is very good and emotional. The characters are fun and engaging. It's just an amazing world that they build with Into the Spider-Verse. And now that we're actually getting a sequel, and not only a sequel, but the fact that it's a part 1 of 2, man, that's just more exciting for me, okay? And the fact that we're gonna get to see more Spider-Man, probably, it's just all the more exciting. I just hope that we get a lot of kooky, funny Spider-Man and Spider-Woman in this new entry in the franchise. That's just my biggest hope of this movie. And also having the same amount of good writing and good storytelling that the first film had. And for my last anticipated movie of 2022, it's actually one that it's coming out pretty recently, and yes, you bet your fucking ass that I'm going to watch it in theaters, and that is The Batman. I have this weird relationship with Batman, where I love the character, but I'm not a huge fan of every entry in the Batman franchise. This new Batman movie I'm really interested in because it is it's a younger version of the character, but it's also probably the most ruthless version of Batman. At least, and I know that some Batman nerd is gonna come at me and say, well, actually, it's like, I don't give a fuck, okay? Like, this is my impression from the trailers of The Batman, okay? I just feel like Robert Pattinson's Batman is going to be an absolute monster in this movie. And if not that, it's probably going to be very emotional driven film. At least that's what I hope for. And again, the director gives me hope. Matt Reeves is probably one of my favorite directors right now. I mean, alongside someone like Denis Villeneuve and and Jason Reitman. Like, those three right now are some of my favorite directors in the industry right now. And I just have huge good expectations for this film, and I hope it's good. I hope it performs well. Yeah, I'm just really excited to get an actual new Batman movie, rather than let's just wait and see if the Ben Affleck Batman happens. If not, then whatever. It's like, I'm tired of waiting for that. And I know it's already been canceled for years, but it's like, I've just been waiting for a new Batman movie that is not Ben Affleck. But that's pretty much it. I talked about video games. I talked about movies. There's some TV stuff that definitely I'm looking forward to. Of course, there's Moon Knight on Disney Plus. Obi-Wan also on Moon Knight. The final season to Better Call Saul is also coming out, so I'm definitely very excited for that. Primal Season 2, it also seems it's going to be coming out this year. So, yeah, there's also a good amount of good TV coming out that I am very much excited for and looking forward to. But, again, that's kind of much more of a shorter list that I just didn't want to pay that much attention to. Because, again, it's much smaller than these other ones, you know? But, anyways, I hope you guys liked the video. You know, it's really fun for me to make these videos. I don't think I've expressed that yet in any of these videos, but I've really had a lot of fun making videos again. It's really refreshing that I actually have a space where I can talk about the stuff that I'm passionate about. Movies and video games and TV and also art. I love drawing. I don't think I've ever shared anything of my drawings here, but it's like, I just really like that I have this platform where I can really express myself and that I can talk about the stuff that I love and that I'm passionate about. And the fact that there is at least one person that is watching these videos just kind of warms my heart, if I'm being completely honest. I guess I've never talked about why I even make this channel. And really the reason why I did it is because I've never really had a space where I can share my love for the stuff that I am passionate about. And here's the thing, I have a really amazing family. I love my dad, I love my parents, I love my siblings. They're all amazing. But I just don't feel like I can talk to them about the stuff that I love with them like I do it here. And it's fine, you know, it's fine. I'm not complaining. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I wish I had a space where I could share how I feel about certain things, and where I can share the stuff that I love and that I'm passionate about. And the fact that YouTube has given me that platform, and again, the fact that there's probably one individual out there that is actually watching these videos makes me happy. Even if it's one person, and even if they just watch it for a few seconds and then they're like, I don't want to listen to this stupid shit. The fact that at least I got somebody to sit and watch like 3 seconds of this, to me, that's at least a win for me, okay? Now, yes, would it be cool if I made a profit in this platform at some point? Like, yeah, of course, it would be cool, but really the point of making this channel was never really of like, oh, let's hope I can make a profit, make money off of this, like probably like a bunch of other people do. Not really. Like, yes, it will be cool if later on the line I can make some sort of profit from making these videos, but really the main reason why I made this channel was because I wanted an outlet to express myself and talk about stuff that I really care for. I really fucking hate school, and even at school with my friends, I don't feel like I can talk to them about the stuff that I love as much as I can do it here. So I guess I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I have this platform, and I'm thankful that I can talk about these things that I'm really passionate about with you guys. Again, even if you only watch it for like a minute or less than a minute, to me that is just enough. That at least you bothered on clicking that video and watched it for a few seconds, and that's it. Again, and as well, I don't ask for likes that much either, or for people to share it. It's cool if people do it, definitely, but I'm not begging for people to like these videos. The only reason why I end the videos always saying like and subscribe is because it's kind of the norm to say that at the end of a video. But again, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm thankful that I have this platform where I can talk about stuff that I love and that I actually care about. So yeah, thank you. And once again, thank you very much for watching the video. If you stuck around for the entire video, again, leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more content or see more of my content, and hopefully I'll see you in, the next video that I make. I still don't have a good intro. I still don't have a good outro either. So these endings and these beginnings to these videos are really improvised because I don't know how to start a video and I don't know how to end the video. But I guess I could just end it saying thank you, and hopefully you guys liked it, and hopefully you guys stick around for more content in the future. And if you want to share to somebody that might like my type of content, that would be cool. Again, it sounds really pity for me saying this, it sounds very, very begging, but anyways, whatever. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, yeah, I'll just end it right there. Take care.